All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to our webinar, IBM Backups, Overcoming Manual Tape Delays. How to improve the accuracy and efficiency of your backup operations for IBM. My name is Axe Signer, Vice President of Solutions here at Electronic Storage Corporation. We're located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We are a software developer and been in business since 1989, so over 30 years in business. We're an IBM registered business partner and a Microsoft certified partner. So today's webcast is an overview of how to eliminate the delays of using manual tape. So 10 ways of using tape delays operations, how to automate operations to overcome delays using encryption, deduplication, replication to improve data protection of your backups. Some bonus features like multi-thread backups, auto set, archive, and purge of your backups. And we're going to actually do a quick little demonstration of our LaserVault Vital solution. So here are 10 ways using tape delays operations. We're going to talk about backups taking too long, running slow, slowing down systems and user access. So in the comparison of tape to saving to disk, your backups could be twice as fast saving to disk compared to tape. Incomplete backups require extra attention and time. Personnel needed to manage and oversee slow backup operations. Time to manually archive and purge data. This is a lot also about dealing with tapes, dealing with physical tapes, and having to manage those tapes in terms of the retention of them, storing them off-site, recovering them from an off-site location, paying for an off-site location to store your tapes. Being that you can store all of your backups on disk electronically means that you can keep multiple copies of your backups, have better protection of that data, greatly increase the speed of your backups, shortening your backup window. So automating operations using virtual tape. So you can use virtual tape for your daily, weekly, monthly, incremental, differential backups. And you can even continue to use physical tape if you'd like to use that for any of your long-term archiving of backups, whether they're your monthly backups or annual backups that you keep for multiple years, including even storing those on disk. And we could talk more about that. So we're going to reduce the frequency of having to manually manage, deal with storage, transporting of tapes. This is going to result in a significant time savings for your systems and IT personnel. So using virtual tape in place of manual tape is super simple with our Vital solution because it looks exactly like tape to your IBM system. Whether you're using Vital as a tape device with commands like save sys, save object, save library, option 21. So yes, you can do a full system restricted state save with this virtual tape solution, or whether you're using it as a tape library. So we can emulate a tape library, therefore using it with BRMS if you're using that today, or robot save. But the great thing about doing virtual tape is you don't have the requirement of handling tapes, saving time, reducing risks of your data. So this is a really simple solution to implement because you're changing very little in your current backup solution. So if you're saving to a tape device, LaserVault becomes a new tape device that you're saving to, and use all the same CL program or save commands, go backup, whatever it is that you're using, BRMS. Continue to use all of those functions in saving IBM data to tape. You can use those same processes with virtual tape. So that makes it really simple, and you can quickly get this up and running so that you're using virtual tape instead of tape, physical tape. So how does this work? Well, Vital is software. Vital is software that we developed here with our own programming staff located here at our Tulsa office. And also we have our technical support team here in Tulsa. So Vital is a software solution They can run in a server environment or even in a VM. Now, the connectivity between Vital and your IBM I is going to be fiber channel or SAS, whichever that you're currently using with your physical tape device or your existing VTL solution. So it connects just like an external tape device or tape library. We emulate a TS3200 all the way up to Ultrium 8 virtual tape cartridges, and those have no storage limit. With fiber channel, if you use NPIV available, you can have up to 64 virtual tape devices per physical fiber channel port in LaserVault. Now, LaserVault can have disk storage for your backups on the Vital backup appliance. LaserVault can connect to storage, SAN, NAS, deduplication appliance, whatever that you might have, where you might have disk space on your network. LaserVault can connect to it and save to that disk space. Replication, you can replicate your backups to tape. You can replicate your backups to another Vital appliance. You can replicate your virtual tapes to cloud storage. So you have a lot of different options to make more than one copy of your backup, which is not really possible with tape. It can be done, but this is a much easier automated solution for making multiple copies of your backups for better data protection. So some of the things that LaserVault does in order to increase backup speed is that LaserVault can write to multiple files. So it's a multi-thread feature. So this goes from anywhere from 0 to all the way up to 32 files. So what we want to do is, even though you'd be saving to one Ultrium 5 or Ultrium 8 virtual tape, again, neither one of those have a storage limit in LaserVault, but we're going to write the data to multiple files. Having all your tapes available, so this is virtually an unlimited amount of tapes that you can store that are always available in order to do restores back to the IBM I. So no more getting tapes from Iron Mountain or wherever it is that they're being stored off-site, because all of your backups are online. All your tapes are available anytime you need to restore. So there's also a protect feature. So just like with physical tape, we can set a protect on the tape so it cannot be overwritten, deleted, or initialized. And auto archiving. So archiving tapes and purging provides a really easy way to manage the retention of your backups and also maximize disk space locally. So if we do a comparison of LTO tape devices in terms of megabytes per second, you can see Vital on the far right at all the way up to 850 megasecond, over double the speed of LTO 9. So you can use LaserVault Vital virtual tape solution to greatly increase the backup speed on your system. Deduplication and replication. We actually work with several deduplication appliances for storing IBM I saves. Some of those are Rubrik, Cohesity, Quantum, Data Domain, NetApp, Exagrid. And so what this means is that if you're currently using any backup solution, if you're currently using any deduplication appliance backup solution, and you would like to leverage that disk space for your IBM I backup, so if you've made an investment in any of that SAN or NAS storage, that can also be used for your backups. So possibly having to procure more or additional disk space for IBM I backups, you may be able to leverage what you already have and connect LaserVault right to that storage and store your virtual tapes there. Also, Vital has its own built-in deduplication feature called bdup. We'll talk more about that too as we go along. Saving backups to cloud. So in the case of super fast saves and super fast restores and having all your tapes available locally, but in addition to that, you can replicate your backups to cloud storage. And this is an automated process, requires no operator intervention in order to automatically make copies of your virtual tapes to cloud storage, whether that's Wasabi, Amazon, Microsoft Azure, whatever that might be that you'd like to set up or use an existing cloud storage account to keep copies of your backups for disaster recovery. Yes, LaserVault does have an optional data deduplication feature. And we call this product, the software product, bdup. And so that can increase your compression. Compared to standard compression, it could easily double standard compression, which averages about 5 to 1. A conservative deduplication compression ratio would be 10 to 1. Likely you would see 20 to 1 and higher of data that's being deduped. So a lot of benefits go with deduplication, and it's a block level data deduplication that can either run post backup or inline. So during the save, it can be deduping the data. So two things you're doing there is reducing required disk space for your tape retentions and also replication. So it greatly reduces the amount of data that you're replicating to cloud storage, disaster recovery site, whatever the case might be. Okay, so let's take a look at Vital. First, I'm going to go over the web interface. So I log in with my secured username and password. First thing I want to go over is some of the parameters and configuring a virtual tape library or tape device for the IBM I to be used to do saves. So we'll edit library 1, and library 1 can be whatever name that you want to call this, which also displays over here when you want to see any of the tapes, the virtual tapes that are in the inventory. So the library path, this is running on a server, this instance of Vital, and we're pointing the library path, which is where all the virtual tapes are stored and written on local disk, which could be any RAID configuration that you'd like to use to write that data and store those virtual tapes. Instead, this could point to a SAN or NAS, whether it's an iSCSI connection, fiber channel connection to a SAN or NAS, or an Ethernet connection to that storage, and all the data would be written and stored on that appliance, that storage appliance. So this means that you don't need storage in LaserVault. LaserVault really becomes a gateway. Vital becomes a gateway where we're writing data right through that server from the fiber channel back out to the storage, and all your backups are there on that storage. We have an export path. This is for any tapes that you would like to move out of your tape inventory that's in the library and store those in another location. This example is a Microsoft Azure cloud storage path. So any tapes that I move out of inventory that I want to store in cloud, I can export those, which moves the tapes out of inventory and stores them there. And anytime that I want to, I can bring them back into inventory and restore from them. We emulate LTO2 all the way to LTO8. Again, these have no storage limits on them. So if your backup is 10 terabytes, you could write that all to one virtual tape. Also, they have no effect on speed. So there's no speed difference in LTO5, LTO8, still going 850 megasecond. The number of storage slots. So this is the number of tapes that you can have available in your retention, which it could include your dailies, your weeklies, monthlies, quarterlies, etc., all available by you specifying the number of storage slots for those tapes. You can increase that number anytime that you want to add more tapes. and that can go as high as 16,000 slots. The data block file count, I mentioned that a minute ago as a feature to increase backup speed, where we can write the data to multiple files to achieve that 850 megabyte a second. And that's typically 8. 16 is can also be pretty fast. 4 just depends. You can change this setting to get your best backup speed. Write cache is a feature for also backup speed, and that can go from 0 all the way to 24 meg. Read cache is for restore speeds. That goes from 0 to 24 meg. Standard compression is here. So with our standard license fee of Vital, you have automatic compression. Just check the box, and that averages around 5 to 1. If you're using dedup, that is a license for data deduplication. Check that box. We're using dedup to dedupe the data at the block level. So blocks that had contained data that is new or changed data, those blocks get saved. Blocks that already exist do not get saved again. So it greatly reduces the amount of disk space, as high as 40 to 1 compression. Even with data deduplication, you can also do encryption of that data with your encryption key here. LaserVault also has replication and retention. So this is where you can define replicating your backups to either another LaserVault server, storage at a DR location, cloud storage, both actually. You could actually replicate to both locations. I have a network path option, or I can replicate to cloud and or Microsoft Azure. We also have Wasabi in this as an option. If you were choosing something different, we could set that up for you. But this gives you the ability to basically set up the cloud storage that you would prefer to use or that you're currently using to replicate and keep copies of your backups.
I found this on the web.
So in addition to replication, you can also set retention down here, which is local retention. So would you like to enable retention based on age or number of volumes? In this, using local and remote retention typically means that you're using this as a tape device, and you want to set tapes that you either create. You would set tapes that you create every day for a backup. You can set the retention on those tapes. If you're using something like BRMS or Robot Save, those handle all of your tape retentions, right? So that when you run BRMS maintenance, any expired tapes that have data get initialized on the VTL so that those tapes can be reused and put back into the rotation. So you can enable local retention and remote retention. So those can be actually two different retention settings for local and remote copies. So remote copy would be your replicated copy. And you can also set this replication and retention on specific volumes that you want to apply, whether they be daily, weekly, monthly volumes. Okay, so also the other option here would be the tape drives. I mentioned earlier that each physical fiber channel connection, whether that be 8, 16, 32 gig fiber channel port and a LaserVault server, that you can have up to 64 virtual devices per fiber channel port using NPIV. You can also define security based on groups. So a user that can log into this interface can belong to a group, and then you can set what features are available to any users that belong to that group. So if you would like a user to access this interface but not allow them to delete media, just check that box as them being a part of whichever group, and they wouldn't be able to delete any virtual tapes. Yeah, because LaserVault is a fiber channel or SAS connected solution. So yes, you would be required to have a VTL appliance system at each location. Now, we do have a TCP/IP backup solution that could do backups across TCP/IP, but depending on the amount of data that you're saving, might not be a viable solution because of speed. And because of the distance limitations of fiber channel, it looks like you would need, a vital solution for each system at each location because of the distance limitations of fiber channel. Any replication jobs that you're running, you can click on this screen and it will show you those that have completed and those that are currently running. Also, email notifications setup is available for replication jobs. Once they start, you'll get an email notification, and once they've completed, you'll get an email notification. And if there was any kind of issue, network connection issue, you'd also receive an email on that replication job. This is your tape library. You have a drive. So if you do have multiple drives assigned to this tape library for multiple partitions, for parallel saves, those drives would be listed here as drive 1, 2, 3, etc. And then here are your slots with all your volumes. So it's super easy to create tapes. You just click this create button up here at the top, put in your volume prefix, whether that's 1, 2, or 3 characters. Again, you get 6 characters for the volume ID, just like physical tape. Create multiple tape images, initialize those tapes, create media. So this creates all your tapes that you need for your rotations, and then those can be, let's say for example you're using BRMS, you can easily go in and add those into BRMS with a media class and have those available for your backups. So create your tapes, and what's really great about this is that all your tapes are available. Anytime you need to restore something that you have here from 6 months ago, that is available to easily just go in and do a restore lib, restore object, BRMS restore, robot save restore, because all those tapes are available to you online. You can also take a tape and move it. So if you wanted to if you needed to manually move a tape into a drive, you could do that, because you can demode IPL from this. So if you have a full system save tape in your inventory here, just move that into the drive and use that drive to do your demode IPL, to load your OS and your licensed internal code and everything else. Because I'm an admin, I can delete a tape, I can export a tape, which means I'm moving this tape from the library path to cloud storage. Maybe I want to keep this tape for multiple years, multiple months. I don't want to keep it locally on inventory. Protect the tape so that it cannot be deleted, cannot be initialized, and it cannot be overwritten. We have some commands on the IBM I side that let you do this automatically before and after your save. So it can unprotect the tape, so you can initialize it and write to it, and then it would automatically protect the tape once the backup is complete. Cool little feature here is labels. You can click on labels and see which libraries are in that save, sequence, size, creation date. So if you needed to see what was on that tape before you loaded it, you could go here and do that. You can also load a tape from the IBM I side, do a display tape, and shows you everything that's on the tape. Yes, Vital can contain local storage. So Vital on a server with Fiber Channel or SAS connected to the IBM I can have local storage, RAID disk, RAID 6, RAID 10, whatever you wanted to use in terms of storage. We do offer solutions that would be the server, the software, the storage, Fiber Channel or SAS, complete turnkey solutions that you just rack and stack, plug in, ready to go. But instead, if you wanted to use it as a gateway to other storage, SAN, NAS, deduplication appliance, then LaserVault doesn't require any storage on that server. It's just a gateway to that storage. So these tapes would actually reside in a network path or iSCSI path here for the library path, and that's where all these tapes would be, that's where they would be stored. When you perform a backup, we're actually writing that data to that storage. So you would have either 12 gig SAS or 16 gig fiber channel from IBM to LaserVault, or even 8 gig fiber channel, but you'd also want a high-speed connection to your storage, whether that's a fiber channel connection to your storage or say a 10 gig or higher NIC, Ethernet connection. That way you've got the bandwidth coming into LaserVault through the fiber channel and then back out to your storage. Okay, so this is pretty much a good amount of information. Let me just show you on the IBM side what I've got. LaserVault is here as a tape library, TAP MLB V1. TAP V1 is the tape device. When we look back at the interface, we go to libraries, edit, and that represents this right here, this tape drive entry with control path yes. So if I wanted another tape device for that tape library, click add. It would be a new worldwide port name address and control path no when I click add, and that would give you 2 tape devices to be used with this tape library. Another way to use LaserVault is as a tape device. So I have library 2 here with tapes, but I'm using it as a tape device, TAP V2, right there. The reason why you might want to use it in this capacity is because you're not using VRMS or robot save. You would be replacing a tape device. Therefore, you could use this as a tape device instead of a tape library. But you do have the option to use it as a tape library if you want. It's really up to you on how you'd like to set it up, but you can do it either way. Yes, you could do that. You can use multiple LPARs using, yes, you can do that. So what you would do if you had 2 LPARs, test and dev, for example, or I'm sorry, prod and dev or prod and test, 2 LPARs, you'd want 2 tape devices if you were going to run both LPARs at the same time. So what you can do is 1 fiber channel port, let's say 16 gig fiber channel port into LaserVault, and you could do a tape library and 2 tape devices and then the both LPARs could share that tape library, or you could set up a separate tape library and let that other LPAR, each LPAR has its own tape library. So it's either way that you want to do it. If you're not using NPIV on your IBM side, you'd have 2 fiber channel connections coming out from each LPAR, unless you're moving the fiber channel card from one LPAR to the other. Migration of volumes from tape to okay, that's a very good question. So there's 2 ways to do it. If you're using go save commands, you can use dupe tape. So here we go from TAP 01 to TAP V2, which is LaserVault. So this is copying from physical to virtual. You just have a tape loaded, a physical tape loaded in your drive and a virtual tape loaded in LaserVault. Or you can use dupe media BRM. And this would copy a physical from a physical tape device to the LaserVault virtual tape device, and that tape, both of those tapes being in BRMS. Now you can also, there was a diagram that I have in here in the PowerPoint. Let's go back to that real quick. We have a tape in and a tape out feature. So if you actually connected a tape device to the LaserVault Vital backup appliance, you can tape out to that tape drive, a virtual to a physical, and use that in an IBM restore or IPL. Tape in would mean you take your IBM tape, put it in that tape drive that's connected to LaserVault, and you tape in, which copies it from physical to virtual. But in most cases, since folks, already have a tape device or tape library on their current IBM system, they typically just use that to copy from physical tape to virtual tape, or from virtual to physical. Because in some cases you might have a case where what you'd want to do with your long-term tape storage is make copies of those to physical tape. Some people do that, but but what they are eliminating is that daily, tape save, where they're having to change out tapes once a week in a tape library or once a day in a tape device. Okay, so let's see, more questions. LaserVault Vital could be stored written directly to the cloud. Pretty slow. Whether you're doing that through our LaserVault backup TCP/IP solution, or whether you're doing that through Vital. So what we would recommend is, if for not slowing your backup down terribly by going directly to cloud, is save locally and then replicate to cloud. And that can be done through either our TCP/IP solution, LaserVault backup, or this fiber channel tape emulation solution. But for backup speed, it's best to write locally, and for restore speed as well, big time on restore speed, that you have a local copy and that you replicate to cloud. Now, if your backup is 100 gig, you could go ahead and Vital could go ahead and write the backup directly to cloud, not write locally. It just depends on the amount of data and the speed that you have, the connection speed that you have from your location to the cloud storage. Okay, so additional resources, we've got some handouts that you can download in the GoToWebinar panel. Those are the documents that you're welcome to download. This has been recorded and will be placed on our YouTube channel, and then we'll be sending you the link to that so you can take a look at it at another time, show it to other colleagues, etc. LaserVault.com, and also IBM Global Solutions Directory. You can get more information about our virtual tape solution there at either of those places. We can do an online demo with you, which would be good to go over your backup requirements, how much storage that you're going to need, how much data you're backing up, how many LPARs you're saving, how many tape devices that you're going to need, what you'd like to use for storage. I mean, all that can be configured and talked about in a demonstration, where then we can even provide you any kind of pricing information for software, any kind of server configuration that you might need, because we do offer this as a software solution if you wanted to provide the hardware, whether it be a server or a VM. Now, one thing to note about using LaserVault in a Windows VM, our solution is a Windows-based application, tape emulation solution, is that in the host server of the VM, you would need a PCIe slot for a fiber channel card or a SAS card. So that in some cases, virtual machines do not have a PCIe slot. So you might need a server, a 1U or 2U server to host the LaserVault Vital solution and have that connectivity to the IBM I system. So we do send out a $50 Amazon gift card for your time after you do the demonstration, if that's okay with you, to receive one of those. And email us at info@laservault.com and mention AGC50 so we can get you a date and time to take a look at the product and get more information on how it best fit your backup requirements for the IBM I. So I want to thank everybody for your time. Doesn't look like we have any additional questions. So we're going to do a quick drawing after this is complete, and for the earbuds. So if you are the winner, you'll be notified via email. Our contact information up at the top left. Feel free to call, email, send more questions if you have them. Set up a demo if you'd like to take a look at more detail about Vital or even our TCP/IP backup solution and talk about cloud storage and so forth. We'd love to visit with you. Thanks everybody for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day.